It is Open Line on the air with Mark and Patty. We're headed back to the studio for more Open Line right here.
Well, thanks, Jackson. And there's been a news story out that we've even covered here earlier this morning. The need, I know, for people to help out with those with disabilities. And we've got with us Steve Skauge, Executive Director for Productive Alternatives. Hi there. Good seeing you again.
Yeah, thanks for coming in.
If you want to come a little bit closer to that mic. So thanks, Steve. Good seeing you. How you been?
Good.
Yeah.
I survived the last couple of years.
It's been a wild ride, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
It's been a challenge, but all is well.
Yeah, well, that's good. So where are you from again?
I'm originally from Twin Valley, Minnesota,
Okay.
but I reside near Battle Lake, and our primary offices for Productive Alternatives are based out of Fergus Falls.
Yeah. And you've got, if you want to call them satellite offices, but Moorhead, I know, Alexandria, Fergus, Brainerd, Little Falls. Did I miss anybody?
Perham,
Oh, that's
Hoffman. So we're in the region, and we're just in the process of completing our brand new building here in Alexandria, which is very exciting. We will be starting to serve folks in that building next week.
Well, so as executive director, you are for all the facilities. So you're on the road quite a bit, aren't you?
Yes, I'm out and about a fair amount and cover the region, and really our services go all the way east, almost to the Wisconsin border, because we have a small satellite in Cambridge. So we cover a large geography of the state.
Okay. So I was put in touch with you initially. I know we've had you on Cool TV too, and so Tammy Anderson, she's been a good friend of my sister Debbie's. I've gotten to know her and Bud as well over the years, her dad. But I know she's no longer involved, but I know she loved working with you guys. And if people don't know, what does Productive Alternatives actually do?
Well, we actually provide a variety of human services. We are a private, nonprofit human services agency. Our historic mission is working with folks with disabilities and really in a vocational way, or in looking for vocational opportunities for those folks. We also do a number of other things, including public transit services for Ottertail, Clay, and Wicken counties, and a little bit here into Douglas. We provide some mental health programming in our crisis stabilization unit in Fergus Falls area for the region, which is 24/7 mental health programming. And we do a little bit of housing services, transitional housing services, so a wide variety of things. But our primary mission is to serve folks with disabilities in finding employment opportunities and providing what's called day services, which is what the new building in Alexandria here is about. It'll provide primarily day services for folks when they're not employed in the community somewhere.
Okay. Well, there's a news story I know that took place yesterday. This was the story. Disability Service Advocates hosted a legislative action day at the state capitol yesterday. Julie Johnson, president of the Minnesota Organization for Habilitation and Rehabilitation, said there are plenty of programs to highlight the topics to address, but really the day is about Minnesotans with disabilities being able to speak up.
Today is your day. This is your capital. These are your legislators. Tell your story. When you share those personal experiences, that really means a lot to legislators. They really listen to that.
Now, Johnson said to those who have not had a chance to tell their story, get in touch with a legislator and schedule a time to bring your concerns to them. So would you concur with that you need to speak up for those, maybe if it's not the individuals, but family members to speak on behalf, speak up?
Absolutely. The funding that drives the services that we provide comes directly from legislative appropriation. And so to do what we do, we depend on legislative action to provide the dollars, access the resources to provide our services. So if people have concerns, absolutely, they need to establish a relationship with their area legislators and speak up, say what they need to say on behalf of the folks that we serve.
So the other part of this, too, I know, is there is a real need. You have a worker shortage for people to help out, don't you?
Absolutely. Just like pretty much all human services worlds in the state, nursing homes, private care, you name it, everybody is struggling to find employees. And certainly as we wind down the COVID element of this, that part has not changed. I mean, we had a shortage to a certain degree prior to COVID issues. Over the last 2 years, it's only been exacerbated, and that continues to be our number one concern. We can't serve people unless we have the ability to hire people to do that.
So I have seen at a local restaurant here, I won't mention who it is, but they're hiring some people with some disabilities, which is great, and love to see them, chat with them, and just so wonderful to see them involved in the community. Are you, through your organization, your nonprofit, are you able to kind of help place some people working within the communities too?
That's exactly what we do.
Okay.
That is one of our primary missions is really to promote the idea of the folks that we serve working in community-based jobs. And so our responsibility is to find the right match between employers who not only need employees but also have specific jobs that they can't fill, and match them up with the folks that we serve. So that's really one of our primary focuses. However, if we can't hire our own staff to help transportation's a huge issue, transport and provide some services or assistance to those folks when they're working, then we can't get them out there.
Yeah, well, so that's the big thing with this. So if people are listening right now, Steve, are you putting out a mass appeal for people if they have some time on their hands and would like to help out in this area?
Absolutely. We are constantly hiring. We have about 325 employees across our agency, and we're consistently, pick a number, 10, 15, 20 positions short.
Wow. Anywhere
you look. And so absolutely, if somebody's interested and is looking for, and we hire a lot of part-time people in a lot of different time slots too. So if people are looking for some employment, maybe just want to work part-time, maybe looking for some evenings or weekends even, we can accommodate those.
So what exactly, if people are listening, well, I want to help out, I've got a giving heart, I want to step up in this time, what would be required of them typically?
Really not a whole lot other than a willingness to work with people.
Okay.
We train people all the time for the types of things that we need to do. They need to be able to have some caring attitude, certainly, but also just recognize that we can teach anybody to do what we need them to do. We just need them to have the right perspective about jumping in and working for us.
So has this been probably the most challenging time that you've ever encountered?
I've been doing this for a long time, and there's no question that we are as short of people to work as we have ever been and that I've ever seen. And unfortunately, again, I don't know when that's going to end.
Yeah. Well, we're going to grab this call. I recognize the name. Marilyn, how are you?
Hi. Say, I'm listening to you, and I'm sure a lot of people, or some people, know that I have a brother that lives with us that is a man with Down syndrome. He goes to PAI. If he didn't have that facility, and he doesn't work, he just goes, he has friends there. He looks forward to going there. It is a wonderful thing. And when you talk about the transportation, and whenever Glenn is his bus driver, and whenever I tell him there's a change, well, does Glenn know? No. Glenn is pretty important to him. But I also just quick made a call to Bill and said, where is this? Do you know anything about this? He was in a different committee meeting, and he said, I know that the Senate has more dollars in a bill, but he said, I can't tell you exactly where it's at, but they are looking at it. They do have some funds that they're looking to increase, and I surely hope that that becomes a reality. It is so essential. And thank you very much for all you do.
Yeah, well, thanks, Marilyn. And I know this topic is so near and dear to Bill's heart, too. Both of you are so loving to your brother, and
there's a lot of people in our same situations that have their families in their home, and if they're not in their home, they have a life. They have a productive life, and whether it's going there and they have their lunch and he colors and he does whatever, he has good friends there, and the staff is fabulous with him and puts up with a lot of foolishness with him. So
yeah, right. No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn. Say hi to Bill. All right. Yeah. So I'm sure you hear that those kind of stories all the time.
We do, and certainly appreciate that. And she's right. There are several bills at the legislature right now, both in the House and Senate side, that do add some resources
to be able to hire more people, offer maybe
pay better.
Yeah,
pay is certainly one of the issues. There's no question about that. I mean, our ability to pay people and have decent wages and benefits is entirely dependent on the reimbursement that we get. We can't squeeze blood out of a turnip any better than anybody else can. So as a result, we're dependent on that appropriation. And there are several bills, one relating to one-time money that would be sort of a recognition of the services, because we never shut down over the last 2 years. I mean, a lot of businesses were forced to close. We did not. We decreased services to a certain extent, but kept providing what we could. So to recognize some of those folks, there is an effort legislatively, and then there's also effort to increase the reimbursement for the long term.
Okay. Gas prices going up, I'm sure, obviously, that's a concern for some people, but I'm assuming maybe you're helping out in that area too?
Well, it's a huge impact for us. As you can appreciate, the vast majority we serve almost 1,000 people a day across our service territory. The vast majority of them do not drive. They are dependent 100% on us for transportation. So our transportation fleet, we have a little over 100 vehicles. And
you do?
And we burn a little over 100,000 gallons of fuel a year.
Wow.
So if you take that times the current increase, we have no means to recover that cost. I mean, we're locked into the rates that we get reimbursed for that. And so, it doesn't take a math wizard to figure out that doesn't bode well for us as
100,000 gallons at almost $4 a gallon. That's $400,000 at current prices.
At current cost, that's correct.
And we don't know where it's going to go.
No.
Wow.
And so, again, we're at the mercy of those forces like everybody is. But unlike other kinds of, like trucking firms, for instance, and I'm not singling them out, but they will add surtaxes and surcharges onto those costs. We can't do that.
Yeah, right. Well, Patty, where are you going to take us? Well, again, by the way, we're with Steve Skauge from Productive Alternatives, some of the challenges that they're dealing with right now. But
well, there's a big difference in being a pain in the neck and having a pain in the neck.
Right, yeah.
So if you have
Are you referring to me?
No.
Oh.
You're
like my big sister.
I just like to keep everybody guessing.
Right.
So Movado Therapy is open, and during this time they want everyone to know that they are taking it very seriously, cleaning the facility, keeping it clean for their patients, and only patients are coming in. What they provide for pain relief is called MagnaWave therapy, and it's an electromagnetic therapy that increases the blood flow and helps support the body's natural healing function. It's called PEMF, Pulsed Electromagnetic Frequencies. It is FDA approved. Dr. Oz has done programs on it. NASA has used it for over 20 years. I used it, and it was life-changing for me. So I like people to know about it. It might not work the same for you as it did for me, but I'm telling you, it was a miracle for me personally. So it is non-intrusive, non-invasive. You don't have to take your clothes off. You just sit down, you look at the beautiful tropical fish and listen to classical music and let the girls tell the girls where it hurts.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat that. For chronic pain, for athletes, for general wellness, I know a lot of people like me who went and in the first 2 sessions found themselves walking without pain again, but continue to go because it feels so good.
I bet, yeah.
And it helps to maintain that level. It's amazing. Sprains, strains, chronic tight muscles, digestive issues. It can just help you in so many ways. Neck, back, and joint issues. If you want to find out more, find out about this technology that has been around for more than 60 years. It helps the body remove inflammation and improve body flow and oxygen to soft tissue. So get back to living, back to doing, back to being yourself. Call today, Movado, 320-808-8085. 320-808-8085. You'll be glad you did.
Yeah,
Nothing
absolutely.
to lose.
Right, absolutely. Everything to gain, right? There's only an
Absolutely
upside
right.
there. All right, thanks, Patty. Again, we are with Steve Skauge from Productive Alternatives, and we appreciate you coming in today.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, you bet. So there was that rally at the state capitol yesterday to talk about, bring awareness to staff shortages for disability services. I know you're trying to run the operation with all your satellite offices. Were you able to be a part of that yesterday?
I was virtually.
Okay.
I historically have gone down there many years, many times, and participated. We have held this event every year for many years. This year, however, most of it was done virtually, and I was able to attend in that respect. But I have regular contact with all of the legislators in our area, and they know who we are and what we do, and that's hugely important. They have to know what the issues are. You can't ask legislators to advocate or have some impact on a situation unless they understand what it is.
Right, and of course, with somebody like Senator Bill Ingebretson, who's impacted, personally, I'm sure that's got to help.
Absolutely. He has personal knowledge, but he's also been a long time, supporter and understands the issue. And we work at making sure that he stays informed, and all legislators are informed. I mean, and the best part about that is when things come up in a hearing or a certain bill amendment is on the table, then they call us, they call me, they ask questions, and that's what you really need to do so that they understand clearly what the issues are.
And I'm sure as being in the nonprofit, you've got a lot of friends also in the nonprofit sector, and I'm sure they're all dealing with similar type stories, aren't they?
Absolutely. Right now, like I said, it's a chronic issue in nursing homes, in home health care, and group homes. All of us are struggling. We just have to do a better job collectively of helping people understand the value of working for us and what kinds of things are positives about that. But we also have to work hard to raise our wages and keep our benefits, et cetera, competitive.
So within Productive Alternatives, is there, I know down in Wilmer where I grew up, there was a kind of a similar facility, and they would assemble things. And are you doing some of those kind of projects internally?
We used to.
Okay.
Again, that's been the historic model, was called the center-based model. When people would be brought to the facility, we would provide work there, and then they would get a paycheck from that. We have moved away from that model now to totally community-based.
Okay.
So all of our employment opportunities are at minimum wage or better, and they are in the community. Yeah. We are also, though, like I mentioned earlier, building a new facility in town here to provide the day services, or the services for folks when they're not working. A lot of our folks will work an hour or two a day, or here or there. Won't work necessarily half or full time, but they need a place to be and things to do in between times, and that's what the new facility will be about.
So if you don't mind, the reason why you moved away from the model of old, was it kind of dried up some of that, or what was it?
No, not really. There's been a push nationally and at a state level to eliminate what's called subminimum wage or piece-rated wage, which is how we used to operate. We, as a program, had what's called a 14C certificate through the Department of Labor, which allowed us to pay people on a piece-rated basis. In other words, however many widgets you put together, that's what you got paid for. We have moved away from that because federally and on a state level, the push is really to bring people into the regular workforce, and that's what we're doing at a minimum wage or better, and we've had great success in that.
So I think I will mention the restaurant I went to. It was Pizza Ranch here in Alexandria, and there were 3 or 4 people that I'm sure maybe are a part of your organization working there, and it was great seeing them, and they all had great smiles on their face, and they're happy working and making a paycheck. Is there some incentive for local employers to hire
Well, we work with employers to recognize, and especially now when pretty much everybody has a labor shortage.
Right.
I mean, it's not limited to our industry by any means. We work with employers to just find the right match.
Okay.
There's not particular incentives as such other than, we offer the ability to support those folks. So when we make a recommendation that an employer like a Pizza Ranch hires one of the folks we serve, we're going to be there to back that up. We're going to be there to support that person, make sure they get there on time, make sure they're ready to work, etc. And we hire those folks, we call job coaches, to go into those environments and help that job get done, help that person get the work done so that the employer gets what they need.
Well, it's a win-win for the businesses, restaurants. Are restaurants one of the areas maybe a little more likely to place some of these people? Or
in some respects, but we have people working in every kind of industry that you can think of.
Okay.
There's hardly an industry in town or in the region that we haven't had somebody at one time or another. And we work hard again to find that job match. So if that individual person, just like all the rest of us, if you want to find the job that fits you and that you enjoy and that works for you, and so we try to work hard with those employers and the persons we serve to find the right match, and that can be in any kind of job, any kind of industry. We've got a lot of folks working in the Alexandria region here has a lot of manufacturing capability, and we've got folks working in all kinds of those environments. Like I say, there's virtually no place that we haven't either been or will be at some point.
Yeah, so I suppose just the fact that the retail, either a restaurant or service industry like that, I'm more inclined to be there on a daily or weekly basis. So I don't see all those behind the scenes in the factory settings. So that's great.
Yeah, lots of folks working on floors and in manufacturing capabilities around the region here, the community and region. And yeah, you may not know that, but they're there.
Yeah.
And again, there's virtually no business that we haven't been in at one time or another.
So do you have somebody within Productive Alternatives who is actively calling businesses and trying to see, are you in need of, some help? And we have these great people willing to learn and work.
Yes, we do. We have several staff in pretty much all of our sites whose primary job is to do exactly that. Reach out to employers, talk to employers, find out what their needs are, find out what jobs maybe they, because sometimes there are jobs that we call a job carve out, where there might be just a piece of a job. For instance, they might be advertising for a specific type of employee, but there's a piece of that job that maybe some of our folks could do. So there's lots of opportunities, and we have staff that that, like I say, are out there doing that every day.
Yeah, well, that's great. If people have questions, maybe a business is listening right now, or some of those people who want to get back to work and help out with some of your people that you serve, how can they get a hold of either you or someone within Productive Alternatives?
Well, first thing is don't call me, because you want to call somebody who knows what they're doing. I don't, for whatever parts that I contribute. It's not the day-to-day things, but the best way to really reach out is to go to our website.
Okay.
We have a www.productivemn.org. And on our website, we have a pretty comprehensive picture of who we are and what we do, and then you can reach out to those individual contacts within the communities. If you're in Moorhead or Brainerd or here or wherever you're at, you can reach out to those folks off of our website.
All right, great seeing you again, Steve. Thanks for all you do, and I know you're touching a lot of lives by putting a lot of smiles on the people you serve.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for the time.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 9:05. More Open Line. Join us then.